Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Hello students, now let's move on to the final portion of the exercise. Here we'll be discussing questions related to the salt portion of this chapter. Now these questions are very technical, so I hope you've already thoroughly read into the material. The first question, which is an in-text question, is what is the common name of CaCO Cl2? So CaOCl2 is the chemical compound which is commonly called as bleaching powder. It is there in used widely in paper industry, in parlors also for removal of hair of color in hair industry, and in bleaching of paper, cloth, and a lot of things. So common name that we know of is bleaching powder. Name the substance which on treatment with chlorine yields bleaching powder. So you've already studied this equation that we are in the topic when we were discussing. The substance we're talking about is calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice, yields baking powder when treated with chlorine. The next question is name the sodium compound which is used for softening of hard water. So sodium carbonate, also called as washing soda, is used for softening of hard water. We use this substance because it has the tendency to remove these harsh chemicals from the water. So answer is sodium carbonate, also known as washing soda. I would suggest you write the chemical name. It is more important than the common name. What will happen if a solution of sodium hydrocarbonate is heated? Give the equation involved. Now sodium hydrocarbonate is NaHCO3. When you heat it, the hydrogen gets removed and the CO2 gets removed. So it forms Na2CO3 sodium carbonate, and it also forms CO2 and H2O. So this heating reaction is very simple. We have studied it before, and we're also going to study it further in different chapters. You heat sodium hydrogen carbonate, it forms sodium carbonate, CO2 and H2O. This reaction is also used in cooking because this CO2 gas which is released can be used for making cakes and all the bakery items. Write an equation to show the reaction of plaster of Paris and water. So we've already studied this water of crystallization. We know that CaSO4 dot half H2O reacts with water to form CaSO4 dot 2H2O. So plaster of Paris achieves a different state when it attaches the water of crystallization, and this is how the reaction proceeds. The last question is what is neutralization reaction? Give 2 examples. So it's a very simple format. When acid and base react with each other to form salt and water, then the reaction is called as neutralization reaction. The example is HCl plus NaOH forms NaCl plus H2O. HNO3 plus KOH forms KNO3 plus H2O. You can write any acid and any base and give an example. Give 2 important uses of washing soda and baking soda. So first let's talk about washing soda. Washing soda is sodium carbonate. It can be used to remove permanent hardness of water, and it also can be used in making of soaps. Baking soda, as the name suggests, is used for making breads and cakes and all the bakery items, and it can also be used as a fire extinguisher. This is because of its property that it can form a layer on a burning point, and it can cut its contact with oxygen. The last question is plaster of Paris should be stored in a moisture proof container. Explain why. Now we've already studied this equation. So you know from this equation that plaster of Paris would react with water and form hard gypsum. So because plaster of Paris turns into gypsum after reacting with moisture present in the air, that is why it is always protected and kept in a moisture proof container. So that is all for the exercise of this chapter. Thank you.